is the first time my legal name has ever been used on a stage. My name is Jason Flitton, and I do have a lot to talk to you about today. We need to have a talk. So come on in, get a little closer to me, and we're going to go over how your entire life you've been brainwashed. And every day of every human's life on this whole planet, you're being brainwashed. And I'm going to give you today. I'm going to give you the ability to defend yourself against these techniques. And I really, really, really hope you pay attention. You write it down, you take notes, you replay this, because everyone out there in the world, I know the average person out there, and you do not know what's going on, and that's the point. So let's just peel the veil back, shall we? From 1999 to 2019, the landscape has severely changed. 1899, we had the written ad. It's pretty much only where they could get you. You had to actually go out and read something. So ads were limited. Now let's fast forward to today. You're hit with over 5,000 ads a day. 5,000. And some people say 10, some people say 20 when they want to really get you all excited. I'm going to keep it at 5 and not really scare you to your core yet. And where are these coming from? Digital aspects. The landscape has changed. They can reach us on so many levels, even when you're driving down the road. They have the audacity to mar my landscape. Okay, I don't need to see the next lawyer's idea. That's just some of the numbers that are represented in advertising per company. Interesting. And those are, by the way, in the billions. I know you're looking at it like, oh, you know, $103 doesn't sound that bad, but that doesn't make really much sense. No, that's in billions. So the power of advertising today, you got TV, print, online, social media. That's what that SM stands for. And here's the real catcher. Ages 18 to 34, once they see an ad, are 84% ready to buy. Pretty sure that's brainwashing. And did it happen overnight? No, it just conditioned you to this situation. So what's the difference between false advertising versus advertising, and I cannot believe they use this word legitimately, puffery. Puffery. It sounds so pleasant, doesn't it? Puffery. It's advertising puffery, that's all it is. Advertising puffery is defined as advertising or promotional material that makes broad, exaggerated, or boastful statements about a product or a service that are subjective. Now, this is what really bothers me. It's a matter of opinion. And as today, we're moving into 2020, and I'm pretty sure everybody has got their opinions, and they say it very loudly and everywhere we go. But it's a matter of opinion rather than objectified, because objective is measurable. Because no reasonable person would take it literally. Now, I have also a problem with that statement. Who is a reasonable person? Is it me? Is it my 8-year-old kid? Is it my grandmother who tells me, behave, stop being so animated? No, I'm not sure how to define that, because I write in legalese constantly, and this is not it. So let's talk to some examples. Where'd they get you? All right, let me break it down, okay? Santa Claus was my first thought. Who knows where this concept came from and this image came from, because it certainly wasn't from your grandparents who told your parents about Santa, and then Santa Claus himself is probably pretty pissed, because he's got to wear the same thing every Christmas and doesn't get to change. Because wouldn't you recognize him if I put him in blue? Would you recognize him if I put him in black? And I'm pretty sure he travels at night and going through chimneys. A designer would tell you wear black. You don't get dirty. I mean, it's easy, okay? So within the 1930s, Coca-Cola is given credit for giving us this image in a lot of cases, but that's not really the case. They piggybacked off of an artist idea a little bit prior to that. So what they did was they embedded an image in your brain for years and years and years and years and years and years and years to sell sugary drinks to kids. Okay? This is another perfect example. And this little crustacean friend literally was considered like eating a rat. At one point in time, I just blew your minds, didn't I? At one point in time, lobster was considered eating a rat. And no one in society would accept to eat a crustacean because that was for the poor. I'm too good for that. And so how did we get bamboozled? Let me tell you. So after a while, the crustacean became popular, and they flipped the script on its popularity during the train travel era in America. And what they call Jim Brady, Joe Diamond, that fictional character, was literally seen sitting in a meal and eating 4 lobster dinners and paying $50 a head, and no one cared. And every train ride you took showed you this. And then all of a sudden, boom, lobster's $21 a pound. And you might say, well, it's based on need versus sale or something like that, isn't it? Versus like our consumerism is where they price it. How many people think the lobster is a rare item even in today's world? Well, it seems like it. You'd think so. I sit down at a meal, it's the most expensive on the menu. But in 2016, the New Yorker said, there's more lobster out there than we know what to do with. Why didn't the price go down? That's curious. We're still paying top dollar for an item because it's peer subjective. It's you guys out there dictate the price of this. And if we all stood up and said, you know what, we know the trick, we're done. We're not paying for lobster anymore. Okay? There's plenty of it on the planet. We don't need to pay that much money for it, but they're taking advantage of you every single time you sit down. Okay? And the marketing considers it a faux pas to take it down a notch because they've worked so hard to build it up. So when they aim these ads, where do they aim them at first? You as a child. The first request for a product ends up at 24 months. And that's usually, who's a parent in the room? Go ahead and raise your hand and make that big old sigh, I understand. But I want you to think back to the first time your kid, when you were at the store and they're sitting, they immediately go, and you have to go, what? What do you want? And the first thing they requested was what? A sugary cereal. And you wonder why. You wonder where it came from. How did they know about that cereal? How did they select that cereal out of the hundreds that now line that row? Interesting. Box is colorful, the packaging is wonderful. Then we move ahead. Who knows about diamonds? Where do they come from? Why are they so expensive? I just taught you how lobster is literally everywhere in the world, yet we pay top dollar for it. Guess what else is everywhere in the world and we pay top dollar for it? Every man was convinced. Every woman was convinced, and this is how they did it. And it's brilliant marketing. And you either have Uriel on either side of the coin. This was brilliant, a great campaign, or how dare you? They literally toured the nation during the time frame because TV didn't exist, and they sat in every auditorium in America, and they taught every high schooler, if you care about your wife to be, you buy them a diamond ring. And then they invaded Hollywood with it, so PR came into play. And then you see your fab celebrities up there, oh, look at this sparkle, sparkle. Look at my new earrings. So we're going to get into this even further. Apple. So with their great, wonderful way of doing things, Steve and his friends convinced an entire generation our PC, our computer, PC, our personal computer, is better than your PC. Even though they do the same thing, they operate the same way, but we built them to make your life easier. Who remembers that campaign? Everybody, you can go ahead and raise your hands, because then it goes into think differently, right? And the iPod campaigns, and they make memorable campaigns. But here's the problem. Go try to take an iPhone user's iPhone away from them and hand them an Android. What happens? They have a freaking breakdown. So, have they been brainwashed? Because I'll tell you right now, an Apple iPhone is actually, I'm gonna get crap for this online as well, worse than an Android phone altogether. Okay? And as they continue to go down the road, they're learning the fact that they're not really the cutting edge of tech anymore. I'm literally going to get so much hate mail from this because they've created an entire generation, and I'm not going to do it, I'll let the image do it, of whatever you want to consider it. So, Snapchat, Twitter, they agree with me. This is a undocumented precedent that we are at, and Facebook has the skills and the technology to really get in there and really make your life a pain in the ass. Because Facebook pixel code, it literally follows you around like a little breadcrumb. The moment that you look up something online or on your cell phone and everything's linked, it knows. It picks up on that. The algorithms actually know what you look like, what you sound like, what you prefer to eat for dinner, what you pick up in the morning to brush your teeth. Well, how do they know that? They've been listening to you for years through your devices. And you don't even know. You've been literally blinded by the concept that we're supposed to trust these people. We can't. We cannot trust these people any longer. And they're always saying to me, well, what about the ad blockers? What about our policies? Blah, blah, blah. They are a farce. They are out to get you in every turn of events. They've literally researched how to hit your kid when they feel depressed. That's sickening. So imagine what happens when I tell you, you're beautiful, you're wonderful, you're awesome, and I tell you that every single day for your life for 5,000 times a day. What are you going to believe? You're going to believe that you're awesome, you're amazing, you're wonderful, but what are they really saying to us? The opposite. You're trash. You don't have enough money. You don't do enough. You don't make enough. You're not good enough. Really? So advertising has turned us into consumers, and consumerism makes us happy? Are you happy? Because I always feel like I don't have the newest jacket, or I need some new shoes, or my car isn't good enough to pull into a business meeting. It's got to stop. So let's go over some ways that they're infecting you. Point of sale, mind control scripts. Ever bought a car and the guy takes you for a ride and he says, hey, how do you feel in this car? That is a point of sale script. How time you go up to the register, well, have you found everything you need today? I literally got fired from a job because I would not say, you can upgrade that soda to a large for only $0.25. And I said, no, I'm not doing that. And they fired me on the spot. Because I wouldn't make people fat. This is a big one. Doctor-patient drug kickbacks, are you kidding me? We literally developed an opioid epidemic in this country, and this is what caused it. Right there. A marketing trend to infect your doctors because you're going to give them kickback and a finder's fee for doing it. In-store sensory manipulation. We just went to Disney. I walked in, I said, cookies, popcorn, hey. And I looked around and I thought, there's no cookies or popcorn shops around me. And then I looked down and I saw the sewer system and I thought, wonder how that happened. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Private conversation rental. And you may think, oh, this doesn't happen. BS. It does. They're hacking your closest friends and literally making them sign contracts so they sell to you. And they literally have non-disclosures that they cannot tell you that they're doing this, and they will do it to you, so be careful. And I can't believe we can't even trust our own friends now. We can't trust our own family members. But you ever heard of Herbalife? Neuromarketing. Now this is a big one. They're studying your brainwaves, whether you like to believe it or not. There are 9 companies in America activated right now. Where do you think Facebook got the idea of how we're going to hit those kids? They went to neuromarketing. This is where they study the brainwave pattern of the consumer, and they learn to infect you. I have a problem with that. I have a big problem with that. FOMO. This is a millennial terminology. Fear of missing out. Social media has gotten so bad that our teenagers and our kids in their 20s now have this anxiety, this nervous anxiety about missing out on what they're not doing out in the world because of social media. It actually goes into MOMO, and the one I love the best, BROMO. Are you kidding me? These terminologies are great, aren't they? But all of this basically is based on the concept of social media and your friends either posting or not posting about things you're either missing or not missing. Oh my God! That terminology should tell you the effect we've had on our kids and the effect these systems have had on our kids. This is the America that we know and love. Can I get a hell yeah? No, people, what have we been talking about? No, you go boo, boo, this is terrible. This is not the America I want to live in. Please, I don't. I want to live in a freedom-based society where we're not inundated 5,000 times a day with this garbage. American households, let's talk about debt. Not only is our country in massive debt, every single household in America has created a $10,000 debt ratio. So you may say, oh, that's not me, but it's your neighbor. It's your neighbor who's making up the difference for you. And you don't even know it. So after today, my advice, learn what ad blockers are. Literally stop watching TV with commercials. There's TiVo's been invented, there's all kinds of platforms for streaming. Do it that way, okay? Lower your exposure rate to this invasion. And please understand that when you sit down at your laptop and you start to look around the internet, they're following you. Just as if they were following you on the street, going, hey, don't you need a new car? Hey, don't you need anything? And I love Ralph Breaks the Internet because they gave a perfect visual example of the guy with the pop-up ad. Hey, click here. You want something? Click here. And that's what they're doing to you. So please, please walk away from today with the idea that you understand the predatory behavior that is out there and you can stop it right at its tracks. And I give you this device, and I told you I was going to give you a gift that would help you out. Wait 30 days. You want to buy something? Wait 30 days and think about it. Think about it really hard. Do you need it? And I want to use that word need versus want. Do you need it? No, probably not at all. We've got enough junk in our houses. Just as George Carlin said, what is a house? It's a place to store your junk while you go out and get more junk to bring back. It doesn't make any sense at all. So take it from a couple of my heroes who have tried to pave the way, and I am picking up the mantle at this point moving forward. Stop listening. Stop believing that these companies are out for your best interest. That's the big one. Apple is not out to make your world fabulous, okay? Exxon Oil is not out to make our world wonderful. They are out to get the money out of your pocket, and they will do it in any way they can. So, big warning, understand the power of brainwashing. Thank you very much.